Alright, welcome back. We're going to fly through this lesson together today. So here we go. We got multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. You're doing basically kind of the same thing as we did the other day with FOIL. It's just going to be a little bit different, alright? Because there's not a fun little cute acronym we can do. So I need you to just think about this like distributive property. So the first thing that has to happen is we've got to multiply this x times everything in the second set of parentheses in that trinomial. So the first thing that has to happen is x times the x squared. So we get x cubed, then x times the 3x is going to be 3x squared, and then x times the 5 is just 5x. Alright? Now, we also have this plus 2 that we got to deal with. So we've got to take the plus 2 and we've got to multiply it by every term in that trinomial, and you can't forget about anything. Alright? So the 2 times the x squared is 2x squared. The 2 times the 3x is 6x. And the 2 times the 5 is 10. Alright, so as you can see, this is kind of easy. We've got all positive numbers. It makes everything pretty simple. If you took each one of these and you multiplied it by each one of these, you obviously end up with 6 different terms there. Well, we got to take those 6 terms and we got to write our answer in standard form. So we've got to put our like terms together. So we're going to start with our x cubed because that's the biggest one. And we're going to look, are there any other x cubes? There's not. So I'm just going to write down my x cubed. And now I'm going to look for x squareds. So I've got a plus 3x squared right here and a plus 2x squared right there. So that is 3 plus 2 is 5x squared. Then I've got a 5x and a 6x. So 5 plus 6 is 11. So I've got plus 11x. And then I've got this 10 down here on the end. So that is plus 10. Alright, now, like I said, it's kind of distributive property. You're taking the x, you're multiplying it by each one of those. Then you're taking the 2, you're multiplying it by each one of those. You can always do it this way. I'm going to show you just another visual, another way to think about it that is doing the exact same thing. Okay, so if you take this and you basically just divide it in half, then you can rewrite it as x times this whole thing. So x squared plus 4x minus 3. And then you've got to take the second part. So we've done this part, now we've got to do this part. So the minus 2 times x squared plus 4x minus 3. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing the exact same thing. We're just writing it a little bit different. And how you write it is completely up to you. Okay, it's just whatever is going to be easiest for you. So x times x squared is going to be x cubed. X times 4x is 4x squared. And then I've got x times a negative 3, so that is minus 3x. Now, the biggest thing that people mess up on is they forget about the negative right here. So this negative has to go with the 2. So negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. And everybody always gets that one. But it's also negative 2 times 4x. So that is negative 8x. And then we've got negative 2 times negative 3. So a negative times a negative is a positive. And we get 2 times 3 is positive 6. Alright, so once we get that done, okay, you can see it's the same thing. I've got 6 terms up there. I'm trying to put all my like terms together. So I'm going to start with the x cubed. Now I've got a 4x squared. I'm looking for any other x squareds. So 4x squared and minus 2x squared. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So that is 2x squared. And then I've got a negative 3x and a negative 8x. So a negative and another negative, I'm going to add those together. And I'm going to get negative 11x. And then my plus 6 is just hanging out on the end. So that constant is just by itself. So I end up with my final answer as x cubed plus 2x squared minus 11x plus 6. Alright, we're going to flip this around. And do a couple more. So for the sake of time, it's a little faster when I just draw the arrows instead of rewriting everything, so we're going to do that. But remember, you can do either way when you're working on your homework. Alright, so x squared times 2x squared. So I got to remember my exponent rules, and we talked about those. So that is 2x to the fourth. X squared times negative 5x is going to be negative 5x cubed. And then x squared all the way times the 7 is 7x squared. So I got a lot more exponents this time to deal with, and that's fine. Okay, I just got to make sure I deal with them correctly. Alright, I always forget to leave enough room right here. So negative 3, remember I've got this negative 3, and it's got to go times the 2x squared, so that's going to be negative 6x squared. Then negative 3 times the negative 5, so that's going to be positive 15x, and the negative 3 times the 7 is negative 21. So once again, I start looking for my like terms. It looks like this time my only like terms are the x squareds in the middle. So I've got my 2x to the fourth minus 5x cubed. Now I've got my 7x squared minus my 6x squared. So 7 minus 6 is just 1x squared, and that's positive. So I'm just going to write plus x squared. Then I've got plus 15x, and I've got minus 21. So here's my answer. Okay, 2x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus x squared plus 15x minus 21. Alright, so that's in standard form. Remember, my exponents are going from biggest 4 down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and then there's no variable with an exponent on that one. Okay, so that constant term is last. Alright, same thing over here. We got a lot of different variables and stuff, different letters in here this time. So x squared times x squared is going to be x to the fourth. X squared times 2x is 2x to the third. X squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Alright, and then I'm going on this side, so 7x, and this is a positive 7x this time. So 7x times x squared is 7x cubed, and then 7x times 2x is 14x squared, and 7x times the negative 3 is negative 21x. So I'm looking for my like terms. X to the fourth, that's the only one that's got a fourth, so I'm going to write that down. Then I've got 2x cubed. Well, here's a 2x cubed, and here's a plus 7x cubed. So both positive, so 2 plus 7 is 9x cubed. I've got a negative 3x squared, and a positive 14x squared. So a negative 3 and a positive 14, it's the same thing as 14 minus 3. So that's just 11x squared. And then the last thing I have left is just my regular old x term, which is minus 21x So there you go. That's how you're going to multiply a binomial times a trinomial. Hopefully you'll understand it all. Remember, if you don't understand, you can jump on the Google Hangouts and ask some questions. You guys are awesome. We're going to fly through this challenge together. So keep on trucking, being safe.